Hi, I am Sarah Fox. I'm with Rocky Callan, and today we're discussing who should be reading your work. So, like, what kind of beta readers should you have? What kind of critique partners? What kind of editors you should be hiring? Like, what things to consider when you bring people into your fictional world. So, Rocky, what are your thoughts on this?
Yes. So this is actually a big conversation that Sarah and I have had before, and also something I'm facing right now. In terms of, one is there are different levels of editing, and you really need to be aware of what those levels are. There's beta readers, there are developmental editors, there are line editors, there's proofers. Investigate each of those, and then know that your book likely needs all of them.
Yes. All of them. The beta reader I think is the most optional of them all, personally, I think the beta reader is the most optional.
Right, yeah, exactly. Like, a beta reader really is, it also depends on how thorough a beta reader is. Sometimes you get very little feedback from a beta reader, and sometimes you get really intense feedback from a beta reader. So this is where the whole conversation about who you should be looking for and what you should be considering when you are looking for a critique partner, beta reader, editor, mentor, whatever it is. So Sarah and I have talked about how certain editors, people, they have their interests, they have their styles, they have their perspective around writing in books. And while many really great editors are wonderful at being objective about those sorts of things, you do have to know what you're getting into, because sometimes that will color what feedback you get. So for example, right now I'm about to start grad school, and as part of that program, every term I get a new advisor, I get a new mentor that I work with one-on-one.
Just like in Jane the Virgin. Have you seen that show?
No, I haven't.
Wait, spoiler alert, she goes to grad school for creative writing. You need to see it.
Oh my gosh, okay.
It's about this, like, Latina girl who goes to school for creative writing. So, Rocky, you need to check it out.
That's so perfect. Latina girl goes to grad school.
Yeah, you need to do it. It's awesome. It's really refreshing, actually, to see a diverse show, and it's CW, so I think it's CW, so it's a lot of fun.
Oh, awesome. Okay,
it's on
that's
Netflix,
super.
Everyone. It's on Netflix.
That's super cool. I love it. I love it.
It's like a telenovela, and it's like romance and drama and writing. Like, she wants to be a writer, is her whole thing. So, and it deals with the writing process and writing romance novels a lot.
Oh,
anyways,
that's
guys,
so cool.
Side note, it's on Netflix. Go check it out.
That's awesome. Oh my goodness. I've seen commercials for it. I've never actually seen it. So that's so cool.
You will love it. Anyway, sorry. Go back to the grad school.
So like Jane the Virgin, I get a mentor each term. And so what recently happened was the school gave me a list of faculty and advisors that are available and that I will be meeting when I go to my residency. Every teacher had a teacher's statement. And then you also got to see, like, all the books that they've written and published. So as I'm going through, I was given, like, I really was intrigued by the diversity of those teacher statements. So some of those teacher statements, they talk about cozy mysteries, they talk about humor, they talk about lightheartedness. Then other teacher statements are like, they like grit, they like twisted, they like, suspense, they like dark, all those things. And some of them focus on voice, and some of them focus on plot, and some of them focus on setting, like all those different pieces. And so when you're getting, it was wonderful because I immediately was attracted to certain people, but it opened my eyes to how intricate the process can be. So when you're looking at an editor, one thing you can ask are, what are your strengths as an editor? Do you like to focus on voice or on, setting, whatever the thing is? And people generally know their strengths. Mm-hmm. Same thing with beta readers. Like, a lot of times a writer will set up a critique or something with beta readers, and you want to be really clear about your expectations. And so asking them to focus on, are the characters well developed? If you give them really good guidance and really specific guidelines, then you're going to be much happier with the feedback you get in the end. Now, when you're looking at these people, also see like what kind of books do you like to edit, or what kind of books do you like to critique, because we all have our things. Like Sarah is badass awesome, like with YA, with things that are like, let's not get it twisted, she's awesome at everything, but she loves she loves like things with pop culture. She loves things that have humor. She loves things that have depth, that have beautiful writing. You know, I really like dark, more gritty things. I love suspense. I like getting scared. I love poetic writing. All of those things. So
I can't handle the dark. I can't handle it. I'd be up all night. See, that's the thing, as Rocky was describing me earlier before the call. One of her books, like this very violent scene that happens, it's even hard for me to say it. And I was like, don't send it to me, Rocky. I love you. I'll happily read your contemporary YAs. I'll read your high fantasy. But do not send me that twisted book. I will have nightmares. I won't be objective about it. Like, I know as an editor when I get too subjective, which is always a struggle as an editor, but you get to know, like, you ask yourself as an editor, am I objectively saying this, or is this my own personal preference? Like, I sent my work to an editor. She doesn't like humor, so I think there's this huge disconnect for us because she hates humor writing. And my writing is like my blog. It's really humorful. It's like a lot of pop culture, a lot of wit, a lot of, like, mostly humor. I have, like, ridiculous, absurd scenes. I'm like a Tina Fey show. Like, Kimmy Schmidt's kind of my writing style. And if you don't like that, if you like serious themes about, like, deep issues, don't go for me. I'm like fun, like, contemporaries. I've owned it. I'm not going to try to be literary fiction. It is who I am. But everyone has that, so beware with your readers. Make sure they're ones who can tell when they're being subjective or objective, which is harder to tell. You just have to get to know the editor or the reader, and also know if they like your genre, if they like your style of writing. Do they like humor? Do they like horror? I'm not a horror. Don't give me your stuff. I'll send you to someone I know who is a good editor for horror. But make sure who's reviewing your work is familiar with the genre, familiar with your style, likes your style, and is able to remove their own feelings to a certain degree when editing it. Because there's going to be things, no matter even if you like the genre, like the style, that you might personally not react well to because it's something that happened in your life that triggers it. And they have to still be able to step back like I do. I read things occasionally. I'm like, no, I'm not going to comment on this because it's my own issue. And then there has to be this kind of objective thing.
That's right. I mean, that's the thing. As I was going to say, editors have it rougher than you think because we're humans too. Yes. But the thing is that an editor who's honest is it's very valuable. So to like Sarah just said, is that she is awesome at knowing what she really resonates with and what she doesn't, and she is open when, like, a prospective client comes to her. I am the same way, and I also now have a very involved application process to work with me at all, because I want to work with people that I know I'm going to serve in the most potent, powerful way, right? So be aware of all of those pieces as you get involved with potential readers and editors and critique partners, and be aware that it's okay. It's one thing when you're getting feedback. It's one thing if there are certain we've done two things that everybody should go watch. Again, it's the different kinds of editing that's available to you, and also recovering after a developmental edit. Those are two things that you must go and find and listen to ASAP.
We just described developmental editing this day as if a bomb goes off on your house, like metaphorically a bomb goes off on your house and you have to go through the rubble, find out what parts work, and then rebuild the whole thing. Yeah. So your book is a house. That's what we think, like, that's my image at least. That's how I feel. I'm sure my clients feel that way. I'm nice, but everyone, no matter how nice the editor is, no matter how much positive feedback there is, developmental edit is just a rebuild. It's always going to be slightly
It is, and we as editors recognize that. We as writers recognize that.
We've been on the other side.
I have this editorial note from my literary agent, and so now I have to go and actually do the things.
And it's my least favorite part. I don't know about you. I like writing the first draft. I love falling in love. I don't mind polishing it, but the rebuilding is always my least favorite. I like doing it for other people. I love giving them my critiques. That's awesome. I love telling people we're blowing up the house, but it's really hard when you have to be there looking at it. And that's why I try to remember with all my writers I'm sensitive to is it's really overwhelming to see the whole redoing not everything, but rebuilding and trying to piece together what remains. And we get you. We get you, people.
We get you. Understand. For me, with the developmental edit, what I have found is that it is starting that is the most difficult. Because you're so overwhelmed by the magnitude of changes and questions you need to answer. And so getting back into it and doing like the first like fourth of the work, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm going to suffer under the weight of this this catastrophe. But then for me, once I get to like the halfway mark, things are starting to click and really come together in a really amazing way, and in ways that I never expected. And so that's when I get flow and momentum. What I hate after that is the final polishing, which Sarah is rock star at actually doing for clients.
I love it. I'm a weirdo. I really love it.
I love doing, like, giving developmental edits, and I hate doing the line edits. That's why I always outsource the line editing, because
I love them both.
I'm all about, like, I have all the bombs. Let me throw all the bombs.
I always tried to clean up. I am a nurse and a destroyer. A life bringer and a life destroyer. Come on, Rocky.
So yes. So recognize that there are bombs involved. But find somebody that's going to really serve your work. So don't go for the cheapest option or the easiest option. If you're going into writing for the long haul as a career, you want to get somebody that will really stretch your writing. So, for example, really quickly, John Green's editor is known for being ruthless and almost
cruel.
Amazing
article on this. I'll put it in the show notes.
Yes, put in the article because it's awesome. And it's so funny because I'm crazy, and so she's like one of the people on my dream editor list. So she, in the article, it talks about how she wrote like a line that was like, this is a really great book, blah, blah, blah. And there was like 20 pages of just critique. And one is if you're ready for that level of being, sort of ripped apart, know that if they're if the person gets your vision, that's the big thing.
Yes.
You need a critique partner and an editor that gets your vision. And if they get your vision, then their feedback is invaluable. If they do not get your vision, like if you, Sarah, gave your book that's humor, pop culture, wit, lighthearted to somebody that, like you said, it's not about that, like they're not into that sort of vision, then their feedback is going to, and their perspective may not serve you. Same thing with me. If I gave my work to somebody who did not understand my vision, they likely could not serve my vision in the way that would be the most effective.
And
so
that might be great for someone else. That's the key, is like this same editor is amazing.
We all have our dream soulmates, like our writer soulmates. We all have them. Even if you don't believe in soulmate love in real life, like it exists for
I think for writers it's true. I don't think it's for romance. I have this really weird paradigm in my head where this all shakes out.
I feel you. I get you. I know.
We get each other. We're soulmates, Rocky. Except for that one book. I'm not your soulmate for that one book.
Yeah. No gore for Sarah. So, but we hope that this has been informative. Just really research, investigate who you're working with, and then also be very mindful about when you get feedback. You do want to take things to heart in terms of what could serve your book best, but sometimes some feedback is based on someone else's perspective that just doesn't get your vision, and to also be aware of that. So just go into the process with your eyes wide open and really analyze what will make your book the best it can be.
Yes. And with that, this is the end of our show, and let us know in the comments below what you look for in a critique partner or an editor, and we'll see you next time.